This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. After a couple days off to go tend to life, let me tell you, it's very nice. The training camp officially ready to rock at last. We get things rolling with preseason games on Sunday, so we're only a few days away from finally the first real official Connor McDavid potential game day of the 2022-2023 cumulative NHL schedule for the Edmonton Oilers. However, my friends, as we currently sit training camp, obviously all the opening remarks out in the open now, and everybody talking what the Oilers are this season. Ken Holland, right? Number one, we can clear this up. Smith is going to the LTIR. That is guaranteed. Obviously, I think automatically Oscar Klefbom's there too. Secondary to that, Slater Koekkoek has taken a leave from the team. Cody Cece's got an injury to start camp, so that had me wondering today, is that maybe perhaps why Philip Broberg was taking rotations on the right-hand side? Not because we're looking at a Tyson Barrie trade, but because he may still be needed there despite keeping Tyson Barrie because of Cody Cece being out of the lineup. There's 1,000,001 questions to answer as camp opens, and the Oilers quite simply just have to prove it in preseason games and throughout training camp, to the coaching staff, to the management staff, and of course, us, the hardest critics, the fans. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel, what I want you to do right now is take the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. It's going to be a long episode. Sit back, get the popcorn ready. I'm going to mess up a whole bunch of words just like that, and we're going to have a good time talking about the Oilers here today on the opening of training camp. So, by that, I mean, consider subscribing. That's what I was going with, but don't mind me. We're all over the place. It's been a really good day at work, man. I have not had that kind of day on the counter at work in a long time, and it was one heck of a kick butt day. So let's keep it going here on YouTube, shall we? If you know somebody that needs to see this video simply to get caught up on all the news and notes today, I don't even have time to clip all this because it would be a nightmare. Man, I feel for Patrick, the Oilers fanatic, tonight, having to clip a nice little package together. I ain't got the time, I ain't got the ability, and I quite simply would not want to have to do it because, man, that seems like a lot of pictures and a lot of stuff to sum up today if I can try and hit and touch on everything that came out of the Oilers pressers, out of the Oilers organization today. So, consider subscribing because, man, we are at 8763. That is 20 subscribers away from an all-time new high on Dolynny TV. When I quit things last year, 87 or 86, 82, 87, 82. Where am I sitting? Hold on, let me humor myself a minute, shall we? We can take a second to pause. I need to, 87, 82 is where we topped out at in 2021. So, safety orange. Goodbye. The players hate it. They don't want it anymore. They made it clear, no more orange jerseys. Hello, royal blue. The reverse retro? Well, it kind of gives you an idea of what that new away is going to look like. But you know what gives you an even better idea of what that new away is going to look like? That Condor's beauty right there. Imagine that, made by Adidas, and with an Oilers logo. And Kyler Yamamoto on the back. That, my friends, is what the new Oilers away jersey looks like, thanks to a leak from the team's store today, which will officially open sometime this week during the Oilers Fan Fest. So, guys, that covers off the biggest piece of news, like the biggest fanfare piece of news for us today. Royal blue, that's your jersey combo. Hands tucked, we're good. All right, so that's up and out of the way. Now let's get to kind of what I want to talk about. Big thing, and the light we just discovered is a little bit of an issue, but the big thing I want to get to, simply put, is the talking points from Ken Holland. Number one, everybody's coming here looking for probably an opinion on what I think about Foegele being on the right wing. Honestly, dude, however you build a Stanley Cup winner, I'm game for because I want to win the Stanley Cup. That's the end of the day all I really care about. But how you go about getting there can be questionable, and I don't think Foegele on the right wing's necessarily the right move, if at all the right move. However, right, in 1,000,001 roster complications, there is a world in which Warren Foegele could end up on the right wing. In fact, let me quickly go to Instagram. Trust me, I do so much Instagramming. It's all in the DMs though. Let me go here. Let me go here. All right, so Sean Milani on Twitter, at S Milani on Twitter. Some interesting comments from Ken Holland. If Puljujarvi is traded, so that was a discussion today, not necessarily straight up Puljujarvi's getting traded, but there is potential that we continue to go down those talks. The forward core could end up looking like this, taking into mind that Foegele could end up on the right wing. Kane, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Holloway, McLeod, who should have a contract either tonight or tomorrow morning. And then Foegele on the right wing on the third line. And then on the fourth line, you got Shore, Ryan, Janmark, and a potential, if Puljujarvi is traded, for Virtanen, should he earn a contract, to be there on the right wing. So you're talking about 3 solid lines. Like, obviously, right, you could have a multitude of combinations on that left wing where Holloway is slotted in, but based on what we saw in the rookie camp, quite honestly, Dylan Holloway is going to secure a roster spot. I don't care what you say, unless he gets injured. Thank you. Unless he gets injured, he should be completely fine to secure a roster spot on that third line. The reason he's on that third line in this projected roster is simply put because Ken Holland today made remarks saying there is no way he will be a fourth liner on this team. So the Oilers finally going in the right route of development. Not saying he's going to be a first liner if he's here. That's not what they're saying. They're saying he can't play on the fourth line because we want him to have big minutes offensively, but at the same rate too, you're not counting on him to just go out there and try and prove something in 9 minutes of ice time under Jay Woodcroft in a potential 11-7. And that's where that lineup doesn't take into account 11-7, because if you go 11-7, then realistically, if Jay Woodcroft's solid plan going into this year is 11-7, there is zero chance that not Dylan Holloway, but Jake Virtanen does not earn a roster spot. Quite simply put, in an 11-7 reality, Jake Virtanen has no spot on this roster. Now, obviously, as camp evolves, coaches make up their minds and all that, and that's where that gets fun, right? You have the complication of Jake Virtanen there on a PTO to earn a spot. Well, okay, if he can do that, then does that change Jay Woodcroft's formula? Does that change Ken Holland's plans? And you kind of see all this unravel. And that's more or less what I wanted to get at there, is there was a lot of talk today, more or less about the complications of the salary cap. Does Ken Holland potentially want to go up to 23 men on the roster and carry a full roster? Will the cap allow that? Does a yes Puljujarvi trade facilitate that? Where in everything does everything fit? And that's the fun part about it today. But let's get to maybe more of the talking points that aren't roster related, because realistically, nothing has changed today over yesterday, over the day before, and the week ago, because we've known all these pieces for the last 3 months, other than a couple of guys on PTOs. However, what has changed is the tone, and not necessarily in a bad way. What I really love about this, and when I'm talking points, that's literally the name of this article from the Oilers, is Ken Holland made a clear point today in a comment saying last year was something we can talk about, but it's history. It means nothing. We start on October 12th, and 32 teams start with 0 points. We're one of them. This is the tone. This is the shift in tone I'm talking about. This is the, you know what? We achieved a lot last year. Didn't win the Stanley Cup, so it actually means nothing. And this is kind of, I guess, to everyone who counteracted what I said when I said, you know what? Beating Calgary wasn't necessarily our Stanley Cup, but getting to the third round and facing the eventual Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche was. Simply because everybody all year said, man, the Avalanche, they're going to win it. They're way too good. That it's just end of all be all. They are winning it. And they did. So, to be that last team standing in their way in their conference, give them the ride we did. I mean, Colorado mopped the floor with the Oilers at times. But there are a lot of times during that series the Oilers didn't make it easy on them. But guess what? You still got swept. You still got eliminated. and you're still starting at the same point everybody else in the NHL is, October 12th. So, you can talk all great things, but the people who said, man, like, dude, it is massive failure on the Oilers' part not to beat Colorado and win the Stanley Cup. It absolutely is. Because what's now kind of being kind of going back to, and Darnell Nurse talked about it today, is that 17-18 season, right? Is 16-17, that was the high. We were there. We were knocking on the doorstep. This was our window. And then the Peter Chiarelli Oilers collapsed. And it was like 17-18 was a nightmare. 18-19 was an even worse nightmare. That's the embarrassing part. Is 17-18 was bad and we should have figured it out after that. However, 18-19 also happened. And I think 18-19 is a year we'd all like to forget if we haven't already. Right? So now you got to go out there, and Darnell Nurse talked about it, is we got to earn it. We got to friggin' earn it. Yeah, we earned it last year. We earned a third round sweep exit last year. We got to earn better. But you got to get there first. So you're starting from zero, and you just keep building throughout the season, right? You ride the highs. You limit the lows. You get where you're going at the end of the day and achieve the goal. That's how you do it. And for this is exactly what I'm liking to see, right? The tone is being set. And I mean, Connor did it last year. I talked about it last year, I believe. But now we're getting to see it from the Oilers' point of view, that they're setting the tone the way you want to see the tone set. So that's good. And that's coming right from the general manager and a guy that goes out there and does it. And here's the thing, too, is Darnell Nurse had a lot of media coverage today. This is a fun little quote that the Oilers made a point of publicizing. And like I'm saying, made a point because quite honestly, it is just trying to show what the Oilers core, right? And I don't care what you think of Darnell Nurse, he is a core member of the team, is made of. And this is from Darnell Nurse. If I was listening to people doubt me, I would have quit a long time ago. I've worked to get to the position I'm in now, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. So it's not that, hey, screw the haters, I've worked hard to get here, I'm here. No, it's screw the haters, I've worked hard to get here, but man, I got to keep working hard to own it and live up to it. And that's the beautiful part, right? Is there's, man, I've reached the ceiling, I've gotten where I'm going, I proved everybody wrong. Or, dude, there is a lot I still got to do. And that's what that quote says from Darnell Nurse, and that's what it got me excited about seeing the Oilers publicize that. Now, here's Evander Kane. High expectations are a good thing, and none are higher than in our room. We're looking forward to building on last season. That's what I'm saying, right? Is, yeah, you take last season, build on it, but you got to start from zero. So you take the feel good, but you use it as motivation because there's a lot of feel good last year, and damn did it suck to lose the Avalanche in the third round in a sweep in a series that you weren't necessarily out of, but you got totaled, right? Fair enough. So that's where we're at with those kind of pressers. And here's the thing, right? The other side too, we talked about the roster. Let's go back. I'm literally just scrolling the Oilers timeline and giving you a Cole's notes of everything that I've read today, because I spent a lot of time on my breaks reading about the Oilers today. I made a good point of it. But another read between the lines from Ken Holland was you could still see Zach Hyman remain on the left wing. He's a right shot, and Evander Kane is the left wing. So there's potential that you could have that bottom six reshift. And this is where, what do you do with Puljujarvi? Well, if Puljujarvi's around, Ryan McLeod might be a fourth liner with second PP responsibilities, number one PK responsibilities, and elevated ice time in an 11-7 situation. Jake Virtanen's out the window, potentially Fogel's waived, and away you go, right? I like going back to, if you haven't checked it out, I'll try and link it in this video. I can't even remember which episode it is. Problem of being daily Oilers YouTubers, you talk about so much. The Oilers Fanatic had a great exercise he did on Cap Friendly where he did a lot of work. Dude, trust me, I asked him a lot of questions on that roster, and he did a roster based on moving Fogel, based on, I'm like, man, I envy that, because there was a lot of work put into that. And quite frankly, right, full day at work, come down here, sit talk the Oilers for however long I have, and Lord knows what I'd be able to achieve if I actually had a little bit more time. Not saying necessarily that he does. That's the problem. I don't know if he does or not, but if he does, great. If he doesn't, that's a lot of work and good on him to get it done. But you're seeing that right now, all of a sudden, puzzle pieces, and that's what I really envied, is fitting puzzle pieces, asking the tough questions, sorting out how things work, and there's a lot to be done at that. So Zach Hyman on the left wing is another one of those. Run another roster simulation and see where it all shakes out. By the way, it was Reed Schaefer and Ryan McLeod's birthdays today. Secondary to that, we've talked about the notes from Ken Holland. Cece with the hamstring will miss the first few days of camp, hence Broberg potentially playing on the right side to start things out. Koekkoek, personal mental health leave, and anyone that wants to blame him for that, folks, I just took a year and a half or whatever the heck it's been on Dolynny TV since we did this full time for mental health leave, and we're right back here doing exactly what we did before. So it's not like mental health leave dooms you. Trust me, firsthand, I know it's the best call. So good for Slater Koekkoek, realizing that he needed to do it, and good on him, and we hope to see him again down the line in whatever capacity that may be. End of the day, no expectations, right? I know a lot of you wanted me back. Some of you didn't. That's fine. But I don't think anyone had expectations for what me being back looked like. And right now, I'm just having fun doing it. So if Slater Koekkoek can even find half that joy, I am wishing the best for him. Smith failed his physical and will be placed on LTIR. We already covered that. The McLeod contract tomorrow, hopefully, on the ice. We covered that. To Bob Stauffer, the 3 Edmonton Oilers training camp storylines to watch. Oilers have a lot of options on left wing. R.E. Dylan Holloway, we've already talked about that. See how this all just kind of covers itself. Left D, Broberg, Niemelainen, Samorukov, Murray, all in the mix for the third pairing role. That's a bad thing, but it's a really good thing for camp, and it's a really good thing. Why is it a really good thing? For competition and injury depth, right? You got 3 guys that played NHL minutes for you last year, and Ryan Murray, who just won a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche. And you got to choose those guys to more or less replace Chris Russell. Let's go. I know people will say replace Duncan Keith. That's Brett Kulak's job. End of day. I don't care what you're saying. Brett Kulak replaces Duncan Keith based on what we've seen in the playoffs. All right, so that's taken care of. That's good to go. Other than that, I really don't think there's anything else we need to cover off. I will go scroll my Oilers Twitter list just to make sure. Like I said, we needed to cover that jersey because that's a big thing there. Anything else we need? There was some big news about Mr. Austin Matthews loving Toronto, apparently. I guess that's big news. I guess good. Will the Oilers make a trade? McDavid's right winger. 10 questions to address training camp available on The Athletic from Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Expectations high as the Oilers start training camp. Man, I would love to go get that Jack Campbell jersey that they're promoting on Twitter right now. Oilers had input on the jerseys. Message from them was no more orange jerseys. That from Reed Wilkins. We already covered that. Other than that, I really don't think there's anything else. The Oilers haven't announced their training camp roster yet, so that's another thing there. We got to keep that in mind, and then I really don't think there's much else. I'm just going to scroll a little bit longer, keep you a few seconds. You can tune out now because you're probably not going to miss anything too major. Yeah, there's nothing major at all. Actually, this is of note if you're following the Hockey Canada stuff. Looks like Nicholson will testify on October 4th if you're into that whole story. I have not been following that close enough to give you an educated opinion. And is there anything else? There's a funny video of Kyler Yamamoto on Twitter, I guess you could watch. And there is not much else, I think. Koekkoek had Holland read a statement about his absence from camp, so is he confident in being transparent about his journey? Good for him. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, I'd still like to know that statement. Jake Chiasson was named a leadership group in Brandon today, so that's another thing there. Manitoba's Brandon Wheat Kings, and that really looks like it for now. So I don't think there's anything else we missed. Sorry, like I said, I promised you one lump sum because it is a waste of time to upload 3 videos about the same dang thing today, and I'm just trying to cover off all of my stuff I possibly can. Yeah, so that's really all there appears to be. So I think we're good to go, and we will leave it at that, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to this 20-minute edition. Oh boy. Okay. Get a new one. Get a new one. But in that, and away we go. Other than that, friends, I didn't notice the green screen was glitching out. But if you have any other questions based on stuff I've talked about, let me know in the comments section below. If I see a common theme on something I potentially missed today, I might upload a second video. Other than that, I think I'm going to sit back, eat some leftovers, and chill out again because it's been a busy past summer. So I'd like to chill out before fall gets here. Anyways, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.